ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां यदविद्याविलासेन भूतभौतिकसृष्टयः तं नौमि परमात्मानं सच्चिदानन्दविग्रहम्. Okay. So any questions up to now what we have done on the question of inference? Remember, we are looking at the subject of inference a little bit more technically. Inference is something we make in our life all the time. All the time we are doing it. Part of it is almost like without thinking. Crow. See? Crow. It's an inferential statement, but the process happens in your mind. So almost automatically. But here we are looking more in terms of what is happening. Like Tarka had talked about Anvaya Vyatireka. See, Vyapti Jnanam necessary. Vyapti is what the connection that you have made. That sound belongs to a crow. That connection you have made before. How you made doesn't matter. You made it. You may not even remember where you made that connection. Because as a child you may have made it. Yeah. Yeah. First time, second time. First time you may not even be aware of this Vyapti. You just heard a sound of it. So it may be either once, it may be many times, whatever. You have Vyapti Jnanam in your mind. It exists as a samskara. That gets triggered in situations. Then you make the connection.
So all Vyapti Jnanam is linked to samskara?
Yeah. In fact, all Jnanam exists in you only as a samskara. It's used when you need to use it, it comes up.
But all samskaras are not Vyapti.
No, all samskaras are not Vyapti Jnanam. Hurt, pain, guilt is also samskara. There's no, but there may be a Vyapti Jnanam there. People like this will hurt me. Yeah, all men are like that. Or women are like that. You make, which may be irrational. Those Vyapti Jnanam.
Only the first time when it happens it's purely Vyapti, then it becomes a samskara.
Yeah, once you have picked up the Vyapti, what is inside your mind is samskara. That's what I'm saying. All knowledge, all emotions exist as a samskara in you, no? What else? How else does it exist? You know that this element is poisonous. H20 is poison. It's not there in your forefront of your mind all the time. It's there as a samskara, and the knowledge is samskara. When you saw it on the board, you said, what is that? That is poisonous. Correct? Yeah. So everything that you have in your mind doesn't come up all the time.
So I mean the difference between samskara and attitude.
Attitude.
Yeah, that's the intent. Right?
No. See, samskara is what is buried inside. It can be for your memory, it can be for emotions, it can be for knowledge, Vyapti Jnanam, etc. It can be for anything. What you bring forth into your consciousness. Like attitude is something that is brought forward in your conscious mind. It may have been as a samskara before, repeated learning, and now it has become an attitude.
So all samskaras are in your subconscious.
Yeah. All the samskaras are there. So it comes up when necessary. And therefore Vyapti Jnanam is there. And he said here, not Anvaya Vyatireka. Tarka talks about Anvaya Vyatireka. Okay? Where there is smoke, there is fire. Correct? Where there is fire. Is that also correct? No, where there is smoke, there is fire. Yeah. When there is no smoke, fire, there is no smoke. He uses both. It's called Anvaya Vyatireka.
Positive and
In Tarka. Yeah. Or Kevala Anvaya. Only Anvaya. Okay. Pot is nameable because it is knowable. That's the example he gave in Tarka Sangra. If you look at the book that we studied earlier. Only Anvaya. Vyatireka where? Vyatireka either will have to be not nameable or not known. If not known, how can you use it as an example? Therefore, only Anvaya is here. or only Vyatireka is there, that he uses only dialectically. He doesn't use it for the practical world. You rarely use a Vyatireka argument. Okay? Rarely use a Vyatireka argument in the practical world. In Vedanta, we'll say, no, we don't use all this, only Anvaya. Because inference is one step more than perception. Therefore, you will use perceptual data available for an inferential conclusion. That sound there, somebody is working on stone. This cutting of stone, marble, etc. The sound, Anvaya. Do you have to use a Vyatireka argument here? When there is no sound like that, there is no cutting of stone. A cutting of stone may still happen with a silent machine. There is no Vyatireka argument. Not necessary. There is no Kevala Anvaya, Kevala Vyatireka also. There is only simple Anvaya. Sound? Someone is cutting. Simple as that. Kevala Anvaya. Then what? But we use Anvaya Vyatireka as an argument also we use in Vedanta. Kevala Anvaya, Kevala Vyatireka, all that we will use. We will use as Anukula Tarka, not as Pramanam, as supporting arguments. They are all used as supporting arguments. They are not used as Pramanas. Supporting arguments you use. Yeah. Pramana means what? You are proving something. You prove something with something. Then deductive logic he puts separately as presumption. That is deductive logic. This is inductive logic, straight. Deductive logic is put separately. 2 steps, 3 steps, etc. Minimum 2 steps. That is put as presumption. That is different means of knowledge itself. Yes, we are divided up from inference and presumption. Inductive, deductive logic. What do you have in the Aristotelian logic? You have divided it up. And Kevala Anvaya, like what is not there, etc., we will put as Anupalabdhi, perception of things which are not there present here. Like, yeah. Is Sagar here? No, I don't see him here. I don't see him on the screen also. Therefore, that thing. Huh? So, that is where the whole thing comes in. Okay? Yeah.
Swamiji, I have a doubt about this. Just the example which you gave about the no sound just now, there is no sound. So the question I have, Swamiji, is that suppose so normally we define stillness being the absence of sound.
Sorry, you are breaking up. Karthik, you are breaking up. Yeah. Can you all see me and hear me, or everyone is frozen? No, just check up. The screen seems to be frozen for people. I don't know. Huh? Connected, secure, everything is fine. Can you all see me, hear me? Can someone respond? No.
Can you, but it's break.
Okay. It's gone early today. Only 11:30, you are still gone.
And the area has got a lot of that population. We are prohibited from using this anecdotes,
Do you know there is a Wi-Fi available saying Banduk wala? I know, Banduk wala. I think this will do the trick. This is the only problem here. One of the major issues that this going off.
Come and then it disappeared.
Okay, guys, now I am back.
Yes.
Karthik, your question. Yeah.
Yes, Swamiji. So what I was saying was that now the example you gave about no sound just now, that there is no sound. So the question I had was, Swamiji, normally we define silence as the absence of any sound. So when I am perceiving silence, am I perceiving the absence of sound as a anupalabdhi, or am I perceiving silence directly as a
Sakshi Vetyam. Silence is perceived, Sakshi, no? Sakshi Vetyam. How do you perceive silence? Is it an inferential conclusion or is it anupalabdhi? Sakshi Vetyam, directly. Directly Sakshi Vetyam. Directly known to you, without the need for a pramana. Because it's your own nature, actually speaking.
I see.
Yeah, that way. Yeah.
And extending it, Swamiji, like how...
Sakshi Pratyaksham, yeah. Yeah?
Sorry.
Yes.
So likewise, if I extend it to, for example, darkness and light, do I know darkness as Sakshi Pratyaksham or as Anupalabdhi of light?
No, direct. Because you will describe the darkness as inky blackness, etc., isn't it?
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So it's directly no. It is not anupalabdhi. It can be anupalabdhi, but in this case it's direct perception. Sakshi Vetyam.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so this much we saw. Then inference for yourself, others. Any questions up to now? He says 3 steps are enough, not the 5 steps. All that also we saw. Okay. See, one second, when you are talking about your own nature as Ananda, as limitlessness, that is already known to you as I, no? But how do you know you are limitless? Pramana has to be there, no? Pramana Vyapara has to be there. Yeah. Then once you know, you use the Pramana, you know yourself. Okay? Then what does it come under? Yeah. But what type of, how will you classify it? When a wise person says, I am Ananda, how does he make that statement on the basis of what? He can't say I am Ananda because the Shastra says it.
Direct Swamiji, so Pratyaksha.
So direct knowledge will mean what? That's why he put it under perception, remember?
So Pratyaksha.
Yeah, Pratyaksha, directly he put it as Pratyaksha. So, from when you are trying to gain that knowledge, Shabda is the Pramana. Once you have gained it, it's directly known, no? It's evident. Like how I am evidence, it is also equally evident. So it will come under direct perception, even though it is gained by Shabda. So though it is gained by Shabda, it will be put as direct perception in this level of learning, okay? Don't confuse people who are doing the Gita by saying, no, it is perception. Don't confuse them. Na buddhi vedam janayet. Graded learning. So that will come. Yeah. Then, the question is, in Vedanta, what is inference used for? Because Shabda is a Pramana. In what way are you going to use inference? That means you need. Does Shabda require Anukula Tarka? No. Why? That means you are saying Shabda Pramana is dependent upon inference. You can't say that. Huh? Look at it.
Swamiji, it is just to get the human to satisfy the human intellect that we use.
That's a good argument. He says the Shastra does not require it. My human mind requires logic, etc. Because mind moves only in the field of logic. Logic is Anumana. Neeta, were you saying something?
No, I said that Yukti, Anumana, all the...
Yeah, exactly. Therefore, the Yukti and Anumana is meant for the human mind. Yukti is logic, Anumana, inference, etc. is used for the sake of the human mind that cannot see the validity of the pramana directly. No human mind, if supposing the teacher is telling the person, you are Brahman, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman, you are. A human mind will not be able to see that very clearly. How will you see it clearly? Because however evolved your mind is, your identification of the body mind is there. No? However much you think, body is only an instrument, I can make the body do what I want. Mind listens to me. Mind listens to me. I don't have to listen to them. I choose, I decide. But with all that, your identification of the body and mind is there. However much you think of your body as an instrument. Even if you are like that warrior, the Vajramushti warriors, samurai warriors, okay, you are centered on the Sakshi, the self, etc. These are still instruments in your hands, your identification is still with them. You are not completely free from that identification. Therefore, you will need that logic to negate some of these things. What is Dirgdrishya Viveka, for example? It's a logic of negation. So, inference, etc. will be used for the mithyatvam of the world. You will use logic, etc. for the mithyatvam of the world. Your Satyam directly Veda Pramana, Upanishad is a Pramana. But mithyatvam of the world, you have to understand, you have to grasp it. No? For that grasping, the mithyatvam has to be clear. Unless mithya is clear, how can you understand your Satyam? And the understanding of mithya, of course, is completely clear only when you understand yourself as Satyam, that apart. But the relative mithyatvam you need to know. The understanding of Satyam Mithya comes from Vyavahara. Where did you first understand Satyam Mithya? The idea of Satyam Mithya. You heard examples of rope, snake, this, all worldly examples, no? Pot and clay, shirt and cloth, all these are worldly examples where you understood it logically. Then Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya will have some meaning. Therefore, inference, etc. is used for the Mithyatva Nishchaya. How else are you going to understand Mithyatva? Rope snake is easy to understand. Why? Because the snake is illusory in nature. Pratibhasika. So it's easy to understand that. What about table, wood? All those things you need some logic. Or when you go to subtler levels, more complex structures. More complex structures. Like remember that logic of the book being established in Satyam. So there you need many steps of it. No? So Anumanam comes into the play for all of that. To show Mithyatva. To see the Mithyatvam of all your experiences. Anumanam only, no? Even when you say, you studied in school science, earth is not flat, earth is round. How did you understand that? Nobody, at least my generation, we didn't go out in a spaceship to see the rounder, did we? All the logic was given, the curvature of the sky, the appearance of the ships coming in, how you will see only the mast first. All these examples were given. No? Remember school, you studied all this. All that is about logic, anumana. You can put it in the structure also. Wherever the top is seen first and not the whole structure, then it's coming over a curve. For which you can give some other examples. So that Vyaptik Jnanam is already there. Nobody talked about it as Vyaptik Jnanam when you mentioned it. When they taught all this in school, you said, correct. It's right. Okay. Yeah. But you took it. Yeah. That's how you were taught the earth was round. Exactly. I know. Because a lot of our education was just swallowing information. But the information was presented well. See, we think we blame our education system. There is a lot to be blamed. But it was all presented logically, not presented illogically. May not be very logical, because the teacher is also not trained in logic. So, experiential learning should put 2 apples and 2 oranges. Children, how many are there? 2 apples, 2 oranges. Unless you are taught the child of the set of fruits, how will the child say there are 4 fruits? If the idea of fruits is not there in a child, and the child is thinking only of apples and oranges, jati of fruits is not known, how will the child say there is 4? Are you seeing how education becomes difficult? That we got educated is it's a wonder. And this refinement of logic is what's happening here, that's all. Logic we picked up. As a process of learning, we picked up logic. Yeah. But not all the time. No, we will use. Yeah. True. All pramanas are used. Okay. So now on that mithyatvam he gives a very nice this thing here. Evam anumane nirupate tasmad brahma bhinna nikhila prapancha mithyatva siddhihi. 76. Page 76. Yeah. He says anumani nirupite tasmad brahma bhinnam, anything other than bhinnam. Nikhila prapancham, akhila prapancham. Nikhila meaning akhila, entire prapancham. Mithyatva siddhi, used for establishing it as mithya. Now he puts it in the logical framework. Okay. Tatahi Brahma bhinnam sarvam mithya. Anything other than Brahman, everything is mithya. Why? Brahma bhinnatvat. The argument is Brahma bhinnatvat. Yadevam tadevam. Like anything else. Yaktha, and for his, he gives an example. You have to give an example. Yatha shukti rupyam. The shell and silver. The silver that you see on the shell. Now there is one slight flaw here. Because when you say Brahma Bhinnam, the whole world is included into it. Where is the example left for you? Yeah. Therefore he says, Nacha Drishtanta Siddhihi. Your Drishtanta is not example. Established. Example is not valid. Tasya asiddhatvat. Tasya siddhatvat. Tasya Brahma Bhinna siddhatvat. That's understood. Because when you are saying Brahma Bhinnam, your Shukti Rajatam etc. is already Brahma Bhinnam. What further are you talking about Brahma Bhinna? It's like saying Sarvam Anityam Drishyatvat. If you say everything is Anityam because you can see it, you can know it. Give me an example. There is no example left because you said Sarvam, everything. Supposing instead you put it like this. This is how logically you put it. Yad drishyam tad anityam yata gataha. Because you have not used the word sarvam. So you are not saying anything. All you are saying is whatever is seen is finite, like pot. So now you can extend it. Anything that you see is finite. Because anything that you see is form. Form is finite. Because you have an example available. He is saying not a problem here. He says, Nacha aprayojakatvam shukti rupi rajju sarpadina mithyatve brahman bhinnatvasya lagavena prayojakatva. Okay. He says Shukti and silver, shell and silver, Rajju and Sarpa, rope and snake, Mithyatve, Brahma Bhinnatvasya Lagavena Prayojakatvat. See, that it is Brahma Bhinna is clear. Brahma Bhinna in this sense, you seeing it as separate from Brahman, not that it's really separate from Brahman. That is clear. But we have already established Rajju Sarpa, rope snake, Shukti Rupya, shell and silver, already they have been established as Satya Mithya. Therefore, without bringing in Brahman, correct? Do you have to bring in Brahman to show that rope snake is false, Mithya? The snake that you see on the rope, you don't have to bring in Brahman for that. Therefore, it's already there. Therefore, Laghavena, you can bring it in here because it's already established before. Mithyatvam, now Mithya, what is Mithya he is defining? The technical definition. You remember the 4 definitions of Mithya I gave you all? Adhisthana, Ananyatvam, the 4 definitions I given you all. Huh? Abhasa matram, yes? Huh? Anyonyasha, yeah? Trikalam natishtati, exactly. Adhisthana ananyatva. Yeah. Yad rupena pashyati tad rupam vijay. So 4 definitions I have given you all. Now those are simple, straightforward definitions. One is, it is not different from the substrata. Other is, in which form you see, that form keeps changing. Third, it does not always remain. There are the 3 periods of time. Yeah, exactly. So those are all simple definitions of it. Now he is giving you a technical definition. Okay. Mithyatvacha swa ashrayatvena abhimatam yavan nishta atyanta abhava pratiyogitva. He is putting it in Nyaya language. Okay, to understand this. What is Pustakaha? How do you say Pustaka exists? The Pustaka abhava pratiyogitva. It is the opposite of absence of book. Now, he uses the Nyaya definition. This is, in this text, he is using the Nyaya definition to give them a definition of Mithya. We, as Vedantins, we don't always use this definition. What Vedantins use, those 4 definitions are given you all. This is just to answer the Tarkika. So he says, Swa ashrayatva abhimataha, book. Swa ashraya abhimataha. What is held as the ashrayam of the book? Book is made up of what? Paper. So what is book? Okay. Swa ashraya prasiddhaya. Once again. Mithyatvam swa ashraya nimita yavan nishta. Yavan nishta meaning paper nishta. What is the paper nishta? Athyanta pustaka abhava. The total absence of the book in paper. If I give you a sheet of paper, where is the paper that Sunita gave you? Yeah, just show it. Yeah, there itself. Is there a book there? There's only paper there. Paper is there, book is there. Therefore, that paper has atyanta abhava of book, complete non-existence of the book. Tat abhava pratiyogitvam. Opposite of that. Paper which has got atyanta abhava of the book, tasya atyanta abhavasya pratiyogi. The opposite of that atyanta abhava. What is that? Book. Okay. Let's give a few more examples just to make it clear. Rope has atyanta abhava of snake. In the rope, there is atyanta abhava of snake. Therefore, atyanta abhava of snake will be what? Pratiyogi will become what? Snake. Atyanta abhava pratiyogi. Opposite of the atyanta abhava will be snake. And that's what you're seeing on the rope. So that rope has to be, that snake has to be mithya. Mithya is adhisthana avasthita atyanta abhava pratiyogi. Now you're getting it? Yeah. So in the substratum, the atyanta abhava pratiyogi. In the rope, atyanta abhava snake, sarpa atyanta abhava pratiyogi. Exactly. If you're seeing it there, if what is not there is seen there, that is mithya. In other words, what is not there, paper is there. He is using tarka argument to give you, the simple argument I give you is straightforward. That's why I reminded you of that. This is to answer the tarkika. To answer the tarkika, you have to put it in tarka language. Therefore, atyanta abhava pratiyogi, simple. Adhisthana atyanta abhava pratiyogi is mithya. Simple hai. Complex is hai. Abhava, pustaka abhava pratiyogi is book. This is not taken as mithya. But if you are seeing the book in paper, like here, paper is adhisthana. Atyanta abhava pratiyogi. In paper there is no book. That's why I showed you that. In paper there is no book. Atyanta bhava. Tasya pratiyogi. Therefore presence. Book becomes mithya. If you look at this, apply this argument, the whole world becomes mithya, isn't it? Cloth. In cloth there is atyanta bhava of kurta. Tasya pratiyogi. Therefore, kurta becomes mithya, cloth becomes satyam. Right here. Simple argument. It works everywhere. Technical definition, yeah, we don't normally use it. For mithya, adhyasa and all, we don't use this argument normally. This is at the technical level of arguments. But it's important to understand the technical level. That means, because what is mithya anyway? You are seeing something that is not there. No? Basically, what is mithya? Exactly, that's not permanently there, you are seeing it. That's mithya.
But he's also making it by this definition a dependent reality because the book is
Yeah,
dependent on
exactly. So whether it is dependent reality, whether it is a illusory reality, whatever it is, it's applicable all across.
unlike the four definitions
Yeah.
earlier,
Each is meant from one angle. Yeah.
this negates sense.
Yeah. That way, if you want the simple definition of mithya, that's, you see, adhisthana ananyatvam. That's the simplest and the most direct. That which is not different from the adhisthana. Yeah? Yeah. That's simple, straightforward definition. Yeah. Ananyatvam. Okay. Abhimata padam. Now, if you look at the definition, it says, so ashrayattvena abhimata yavan nishta tatya nishtati atyanta abhava pratiyogi. Yet abhimatam, he said. The word abhimatam is there. Abhimatam is what? In what is supposed to be the adhishtanam. Abhimatam. What is held as the adhishtanam. Paper is held as the adhishtanam for book. Cloth for the kurta. Threads for the cloth. Correct? Abhimatam. Padam, padartha, padam, arthantara varanaya. It is meant to negate any other meaning. Why? Look at this argument. You saw the book on the paper, book is mithya. You saw the kurta on the cloth, kurta is mithya. You saw the monkey on the branch, monkey is mithya. Monkey is not different. Branch of the tree is not adhishtanam. There it is adhara. Therefore, to prevent such cases, it says abhimatam. Where you are supposed to see it. What is supposed to be the ashraya. The branch of the tree is not the ashraya, is the adhara for the monkey. It is not the ashraya. So to prevent things like that, abhimatam, the word has been used. Otherwise, you see, even we saw that in Adhyasa Bhashya also. Paratra, paradrishtaha avabhasaha. You are seeing something on something else. But that's why he added 2 words to rule out the monkey. Smriti rupaha purvadrishtaha. Purvadrishtaha, seen before, smriti rupaha, smriti tulyaha, in the form of your memory. Equivalent to your memory. Meaning it's not a physical presence. Otherwise, monkey on the tree will be considered adhyasa, which is not true. Monkey has a validity, as much validity the tree has, the monkey also has. Whereas kurta and cloth, they don't have the same validity. Look at the monkey and the branch, same degree of validity. Can you say the same degree of validity for kurta and cloth? You can't say that, exactly. Therefore, when you are looking at Satyam Mithya, it can't be same degree of validity. That's why he said abhimatam, which is taken as ashraya for that. Yeah. I was your Mithya. Why? I thought you said Brahman Satyam, I am Satyam. No. Why? Table atyanta abhava pratiyogi. Bench atyanta abhava pratiyogi. In the bench there is atyanta abhava of the person. Abhava pratiyogi. You say there. Abhimatam swa ashrayatvena. Okay, swa ashraya abhimatam, that's important. For each word you use in a definition becomes important.
Is there a difference between the meaning of ashraya and adhishthana?
No. See, it depends on how it is used. Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, you can classify everything as adhara and only put adhishtanam as this thing. Yeah.
So ashraya is basically adhishthana of that particular thing.
Yeah. So, abhimata, ashraya. Yeah. What is supposed to be the base for that, the cause for that, the resolving point for that. These are the words that we will use in English, because resolving point of the kurta is in the cloth. Resolving point for that particular snake is on the rope. So abhimata ashraya. Abhimata ashraya is what? Rope. In that rope, atyanta bhava of the atyanta bhava pratiyogi. Snake has got atyanta bhava, then tasya pratiyogi. Correct? You are getting the, it's a little bit technical language. Yeah. But it is put technically only for precision. It's like studying a book on psychology that's written for the masses, and a book on psychology which is technically written for a master student. It will be slightly different. No? Same thing here. Now you are graduating out from the Gita Upanishad, etc. Okay. into more technical this thing.
So, Swamiji,
Yeah.
sorry, just for my clarification, so
Yeah.
when we talk of the Mithyatum of the universe,
Yeah.
are we saying that Anumana is
Helpful.
What is helpful, but it's Shastra which finally
Yeah.
declares the Mithyatum?
No, Shastra doesn't bother so much about the Mithyatam as it bothers about the Satyam. See, the Shastra is saying Brahman Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Mithya is understood in that. Okay, Mithya is understood in that. So, Anumana is used to clarify that Mithyatam, he is saying.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the title of this section says Inference through Unreality of the universe.
Yeah, it is used to improve. Yeah. That we are making subsections. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So to prove the unreality of the world, Anumana helps. Look at it. And he is putting it in Nyaya language because this is answering Nyaya. If today I was going to write a book on Vedanta Paribhasa, like something similar, I'll have to use a lot of arguments to answer science. Tempting. Okay. Tempting to write a book like that. Yeah. But let me see. Yeah. Okay. Now, Yavat Padartha Antaram Varnaya. Okay. So to negate cases of Adhara Adheya. Put it like this. To negate cases of Adhara Adheya, he is saying Swa Ashraya Abhimatam. Because monkey and tree is Adhara Adheya. Laptop and bench is Adhara Adheya. This is not so Ashraya, etc. No. Then he.
Swamiji, Ashraya is Adhisthana.
Here, Ashraya is used in the sense of Adhishtanam. Yeah. That's why Dhatoho Anekartatvat. A word will have more than one meaning. When did Patanjali make that rule? You know, Patanjali, the story, okay, he is sitting under a tree and teaching. So there is a tiger approaching. So students think, Vyagraha. Says, Visheshena, Asamantat, Grinnati. Something that will come and smell in a very special manner. That's the meaning of the word Vyagraha. By that time, the tiger comes and catches him. And dying, he makes the rule of interpretation. Says, Dhato ho anekartatvad, because the dhatu can have more than one meaning. He dies, he is eaten by. The story goes like that. Okay, he was killed by a tiger. But dying also, he made a rule of interpretation. We don't know whether these stories are true or not, okay? But the culturally, the tradition wise, it's held as true. Okay. Exactly, to Mithyatvam. Yeah. Running is also Mithya. Yeah. True. Because, see, the mistake we make is Mithya being delusion or illusion. Because of this rope snake example. That's why I don't give rope snake examples so much. If you notice, all my examples are functional reality examples. Pot and clay, cloth and kurta, book and paper. Why? Because your functional world has to be recognized as Mithya. To recognize rope snake as Mithya is easy. It doesn't affect your life anyway. Unless you have heard too much of rope snake and you go and pick up a snake thinking it is rope. Reverse adhyasa. Then it will affect your life. Other than that, it doesn't affect your life. Yeah. So that's why the practical examples are given. In Vedanta, practical examples are given. So it's very clear. So even in Vedanta, like Adhyasa Bhasha, etc., when he gave the Shukti Rajatam, the silver and the shell as example, it is meant to apply to the world. No? So that application is all Anumanam. The whole application is all Anumanam inference. Yeah. Then he is quoting here. Chitsukhi, I think. Yeah. Chitsukhi. Now, Chitsukhi is a very advanced text in Vedanta. I have yet to get a student for it, okay? Chitsukhi. Yeah. Chitsukhi meaning that which will make your mind very happy. It is far more technical than this. How much will make your mind happy? The joke is, to study Chitsuki, you have to undergo through a lot of dukkha. Because you have to struggle over it, okay? It is struggle. Yeah. But it's nicknamed as Chitsuki. It's Tattva Pradipika, actually. Yeah. But called as. So he's quoting from that. Sarveshamapi bhavanam so ashrayattvena sammate pratiyogitvam atyanta bhavam pratimrshamruta. This definition has been coined up by the Acharya, Chitsuki Acharya. Yeah. Great scholar. Remember, if I can give a little bit historical perspective, many of the later works in Advaita Vedanta that came post Shankara, but if you want to classify it as post Shankara work, this is academic, okay? Post Shankara works, it's all Nyaya oriented. Because if you look at the Upanishads, they don't bother with Nyaya, Tarka, whatever we are saying, what it is, Pramana. And very clear. The simple mind will get it straight. But post Shankara period, even Shankara's period to an extent, if you look at the Brahma Sutra, the second chapter, okay, what we call as Avirodhadhyaya, there's a lot of logic used in that. Because by that time, Tarka and Nyaya became the prominent school in worldly life. Like how science is today the prominent thing in worldly life. Worldly life, you go by science, no? That's why you want to make everything scientific. You go by that. So the answers also were using that language. Therefore, books like Tattva Pradipika, Chitsuki, Advaita Siddhi, Naishkarma Siddhis are not so much of Tarka because it's handling karma, not Tarka. But Chitsuki and Advaita Siddhi, Khandana Kadya, all these are highly logical. Why? Because you are answering a lot of arguments from Nyaya. And studying them is good because any argument that comes from science can be answered by the same arguments. Because Nyaya and science are very similar in their approach. In their approach they are similar, in their philosophies they are similar. Because of that, the same arguments can be used against both. So there, quoting that, he is saying, Sarvesham api bhavanam. For all bhavas, things that exist in the universe, so ashriyatvena sammate. It has to depend upon itself. So ashraya. Otherwise, you don't say a thing will be independent existence. How do you say something one is independent? I can't depend on my father-in-law and say I am independent. So similarly, my independence means swashraya. I must stand on my own legs, no? I must stand on my own legs. Only then it will become ashraya. So ashraya. Okay. Therefore, pratiyogitvam atyanta bhavam prati mrishamritaha. Therefore, with respect to a thing, if there is atyanta bhava pratiyogitvam there, you can understand that is mrisha mithya. Same thing. Is this quoting to prove that this is not my own definition? This has been used by acharyas before and acceptable. Sarveshamapi bhava. If the ashraya, in the what the adhishtanam is, in that adhishtanam, like cloth, there is atyanta bhava pratiyogi, kurta, atyanta bhava pratiyogi. Because cloth is not always within a kurta shape. Dhoti is also cloth. Your pants and shirt is also cloth. Yeah. The sari is cloth. Atyanta bhava pratiyogi, all of them. From the cloth. Therefore, mrisha mithya. In other words, actually it comes to adhisthana ananityam only, isn't it? Yeah. Now look at it. Adhisthana ananityam is the simple way of presenting the same thing. That's what Vedanta, because Vedanta is direct, simple, non-different from the adhisthana. For whatever depends upon the adhisthana is mithya. Simple, straightforward. Then why are you saying this? Answering Nyaya. Answering Nyaya Vaisheshika arguments, they were the theoretical physicists of their times. Nyaya Vaisheshika was the theoretical physicist of this time. Right from about 1000 BC onwards, this theoretical physics has been there in India. It's not, everything is not experimentally verified, that's fine. Everything in theoretical physics is not experimentally verified. It is dismissed also. That's okay. But theoretically you conceived of certain things. So to answer that, as far as Vedanta is concerned, we are not answering that for Vyavahara. Transactionally, some of those things are valid. Most things that science is valid transactionally. You know? Functionally, it is valid. That's okay. That's fine. We will happily use them. Happily use them. Happily use them. No? Yeah. Because we are not against anything. We are only talking about what the truth is. Just because functionally valid doesn't mean it is real. All functionally valid things are mithya. Adhisthana nanitvam, simple argument. Or like this. So abhimata ashraya atyanta bhava pratiyogi. Simple. Okay. Complex ways. Mrisha mataha meaning mithya iti mataha. Mrisha means mithya. Yeah. Yeah. Mrisha.
How do you break? Is it possible to break this law?
I am not sure. Yeah. So Mrisha mata, mithya iti mataha. Yeah. Therefore, anything you take will be like this. Take anything from your functional world. Logically, you can come to the fact that it is mithya. Anything in the functioning world. And it's important to see that anything in the functioning world is mithya. Why? Why is it so important to Vedanta? Because it is a functioning world that has a grip on your mind. The functioning world that grips your mind. No? Plus, your subjective projections on this functioning world. That also has a grip on your mind. What do you like, what you don't like, what do you think about something. That's why Swamiji always used to say, no one lives in the world as it is. We live in the world we think it is. Yeah. That's why I say, divorce case in the court. The divorce case. The judge asks him, why do you marry this girl? Oh, because she was beautiful, she was strong, she was independent. And why are you divorcing her? Because she is beautiful, she is strong, she is independent. I can't handle that. Yeah. Not the, is it a wonder the poor girl is confused? What is there? You can't handle it. Okay, then he's giving a few examples. Okay, yeah, not at all, whatever. Okay, all right. So this much is clear, right? No problem as well. Oh, to remember it may be a bit of a problem, but remember, understand that simple. See, that's why the basic definition. Book is Atyanta Bhava Pratiyogi. Book, Abhava Pratiyogi is book. This is how you defined it in Nyaya. The opposite of the non-existence of the book is called book. So the same thing now, that definition is being extended to show it mithya. So abhimata ashraya. The ashraya, that is paper. Atyanta Bhava Pratiyogi. Your own definition. Abhava Pratiyogi is pustakam. No, I'm telling you, Atyanta Bhava Pratiyogi is mithya. Same definition is used. Therefore, you are using his own logic against it. That's why it's put in this manner. If you would put it as I said, Adhisthana, Nitvam, etc. Easier way to do it. Straightforward. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. You have to make it elaborate and answer it. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yadva ayam pataha etat tantu nishtante atyanta bhava pratiyogi patatva. He is giving you some logical structures. Ayam pataha. this cloth that you are seeing, this cloth, okay, etat tantu nishta. The ashraya of the cloth has to be what? The threads. You weave the cloth, no? Threads. Therefore, in the tantu, atyanta bhava pratiyogi. The cloth is the atyanta bhava pratiyogi of the in the tantu, in the threads. That means what? Cloth is mithya. Cloth is mithya. Tantu also will become mithya by fibers. Atyanta bhava pratiyogi. It will go on like that. Patatva. The argument is patatva because of pata, because it's a cloth. Cloth is depending on the threads. Now, without the thread, there is no cloth anyway. Example, patantara was like another cloth. Because we have not said all cloth, we just said this cloth. Ityadi anumanam mithyatve pramanam. Therefore, this type of anumanam can be pramanam for the mithya. Okay, it can be pramanam for the mithya. Taduktam amshinaha swa amshagati anta bhavasya pratiyoginaha amshitvaditi amsham iva digeshu gunadishu. Okay, now he is saying in that quotation again, if everything in the world is made up of parts, no? Okay, so now look at it. Amshinaha. Amshina is what? The entity that has got all these parts. Okay, let us say car. Made up of parts. There's rubber, there's metal, there's leather, there's gas, petrol. Correct? Therefore, the amshinaha, the one who has got all these amshas, the car. He says, swa amsha gate atyanta bhava pratiyoginaha. In the petrol is their car. In the leather is their car. Therefore, all these parts, ka atyanta bhava. Therefore, the whole that you are talking about as car, which is put together, is what? Atyanta bhava pratiyogi in all the amshas. So, anything that is put together also becomes mithya now. Anything that is intelligently put together also is mithya. Now, if you look at that, your body, mind, everything put together, mithya. Exactly, because you are looking at the adhisthana now. Yeah. Because in Brahman, atyanta bhava pratiyogi. You have taken that step nicely. Atyanta bhava pratiyogi. In Brahman, is there a person? No. Atyanta bhava pratiyogi. In Brahman is the world? No. Atyanta bhava pratiyogi. So, what is not mithya? Everything becomes mithya. Can you see how Anumana is supporting your understanding of mithya? That's why it says pramanam there. The amshitva itir iva amshaha digeshu gunadishu. Similarly, for space, gunas, etc. Because in this thing, gunas, etc. are taken as separate padarthas in Tarka. Therefore, it is gunas and same thing. Swa ashraya atyanta bhava pratiyogi. That works all the way. We are using your definition to dismiss what you are saying. Because for them, why is important? Because for Nyaya, all these are padarthas, dravyas and padarthas, right? They exist. They are separate existing entities. Sapta padartha, nava dravyani, all that, these are all existing entities. Okay? So, if they are existing entities, we are putting all your existing entities as mithya. Because they are separate entities. Because they are separate entities, we can say atyanta bhava pratiyogitva. But we are taking it each one. So, ashraya, abhimata, atyanta bhava pratiyogi. Then we are looking at globally and saying, in Brahman there is nothing of this. Therefore, atyanta bhava pratiyogitvam, the whole world is mithya. Because you have examples of a few things that you have independently established as mithya. Therefore, you can use those as examples. Directly, you cannot use Brahman. Why? Because global it becomes. Then there is no example left. A logic has to be demonstrable. Remember this. If I say Sarva Mithya, then what is the example? Yeah. Or I'll have to go Yatha Swapne, dream world. I'll have to bring it that. A different degree of reality I'll have to bring in. Because any logic you use has to be demonstrable. That's the important part in logic. You need to have an example. Yeah. Either you can end with the example or start with the example. That we saw 3 steps, not 5 steps. Pratigna hetu, example. You give the statement, you give the reason, you demonstrate with an example. Or you start with the example and give hetu and this thing. Either way. But that much demonstrativeness is necessary. So unless you establish a few things as mithya, you can't apply it to the totality. Okay? Because then the whole thing will become no example left, not demonstrable. That's why even in Mundaka Upanishad, when he is talking about Ishvara as material and efficient cause, he demonstrates examples, no? Tantu, Lutaha, the spider and the web, yeah, the human being and the hair growing, all that is plants on the earth. Meaning from sentient, insentient, from insentient, sentient, all that he gives examples for. So all that is covering all the areas of logic because you are given examples. Abhinna nimitta puadana karanam is what you are trying to establish. But look at the logic that is there. It is just given as a few examples and left. But there is an elaborate system of logic there. If you are putting the whole thing logically. Okay. Chetanad achetanaha sambhavati yatha keshalomani, hair, etc. comes from sataha purusha, from a person. Okay. Or achetana chetaha, from the earth, trees, Aushadeha, etc. The trees, etc. come from the earth. That means, what are you doing in this logic? You are really speaking, dismissing Chetana, Chetana. Isn't that what you are doing eventually? What is Chetana and Achetana is being dismissed. Why? Everything is consciousness anyway. Only because of that this is possible, otherwise this will not be possible. So in Vedanta, the purpose of Anumanam is to show Mithyatum of the Jagat. Mithyatum of the Jagat. Jagan Mithya. Because if we don't understand Jagan Mithya, Brahma Satyam is very difficult to understand. Whether it's a Nyaya mind or a scientific mind, you are stuck in the categories. That's why I say don't explain Vedanta categorically. It won't work. Don't categorize Vedanta, it won't work. And we tend to, because our mind moves in categories, because of our study of science, etc. Olden days, the study of Nyaya. Modern days, the study of science. Which is fine for the study of science. But your mind is based on Brahman. Therefore, your mind should reflect that. The ability to hold all contradictions in itself. If it can reflect that, you will understand Vedanta very well. Good place to stop. Okay. Think about it. Next class we can complete this chapter. Okay. Om Tat Sat.